Donald Trump reacts to Nigeria's banditry crisis, what he said and what he didn't. Across the crime, global security context. Violent bandit attacks continue to destabilize parts of northern Nigeria, with Niger State once again thrust into the spotlight following a deadly raid that left dozens killed and several abducted. As outrage grows both locally and internationally, attention has turned to global leaders, including former U.S. President Donald Trump, and their reactions to Nigeria's escalating security crisis. But what exactly has Donald Trump said about the Niger State bandit attack? And how does his broader rhetoric on Nigeria fit into this moment? No direct statement on the Niger State attack. As of now, Donald Trump has not issued a specific public statement addressing the recent bandit attack in Niger State. No official comments, press releases, or social media posts have directly referenced the incident. However, Trump's previous statements and actions concerning violence in Nigeria provide important context for understanding how he views the crisis, and how his administration has framed Nigeria's security challenges in recent months. Trump's broader position on violence in Nigeria. In late 2025, Trump publicly criticized Nigerian authorities over what he described as a failure to halt mass killings, particularly framing the violence through the lens of religious persecution. Using his social media platform, Truth Social, he accused Nigeria of allowing widespread civilian deaths and warned that the United States could take unilateral action if the situation continued. He went as far as threatening a suspension of U.S. aid, increased diplomatic pressure, and potential military intervention if Nigeria failed to restore security. Trump's language was characteristically aggressive, stating that any U.S. response would be swift and overwhelming. Claims of U.S. military action. On Christmas Day 2025, Trump announced that the U.S. military had conducted airstrikes against suspected ISIS-linked targets in northwest Nigeria. He described the operation as powerful and deadly, presenting it as a defensive move to protect civilians from extremist violence. The announcement sparked controversy. Nigerian officials emphasized that security operations within Nigeria must respect national sovereignty and stressed that the country's violence is not driven by a single ideology. Authorities reiterated that banditry in Niger State is largely criminal, not strictly religious, and affects both Muslim and Christian communities. Nigeria pushes back. Nigeria's government rejected claims that the country tolerates religious killings, describing the violence as complex and rooted in armed bandit networks, kidnapping for ransom economies, illegal arms trafficking, and weak rural security infrastructure. Officials warned that oversimplifying the crisis risks misdiagnosis and misdirected foreign intervention. Why this matters now? The Niger State attack underscores a critical reality. Banditry remains one of Nigeria's most dangerous internal threats, operating across forest corridors, exploiting porous security gaps, and targeting civilians with alarming efficiency. While Trump has not addressed this specific incident, his previous rhetoric and actions continue to influence international narratives around Nigeria's security struggle, often framing it as a religious conflict rather than a multi-layered criminal insurgency. The bigger picture. The absence of a direct Trump response to the Niger State attack highlights a broader issue. Global attention often reacts selectively, while communities on the ground face sustained violence with limited international support. As Nigeria intensifies its internal security operations, the question remains whether international engagement will be guided by nuanced understanding or political messaging. Across the crime. Violence does not exist in isolation, and neither should the truth. Across the crime will continue tracking how global power, political rhetoric, and armed criminal networks intersect, and who ultimately pays the price when narratives oversimplify reality. This is Across the Crime, Tracking Crime, Creating Awareness.